Hello, good evening. I'm Roger Johnson. Welcome to Northwest Tonight. Our top story. An inquest into Jay Slater's death while on holiday in Tenerife is adjourned at his family's request. The body of the 19-year-old from Lancashire was found after a month-long search last summer. Also tonight, concern over falling water levels in our reservoirs after the driest spring on record. Making crime pay. How tackling counterfeit clothes is helping to get these kids dancing. United fans starting the party early in Bilbao. Can their team rescue a shocking season by winning the Europa League final?
You know, it's all worth it. You have your bad days and then you have these sort of days, and it's fantastic to be here. Lovely square, lovely people, lovely town.
And Manchester United fans are piling into the AO Arena. We're expecting thousands of them who are hoping that their quite disastrous season might soon turn into a historic one.
And we are due some more sunshine tomorrow, but things will start to feel a bit cooler. Join me at the end of the programme. I'll have the full forecast for you.
The inquest into the death of teenager Jay Slater, who disappeared in Tenerife last summer, was adjourned today at the request of his family. The court heard that Jay, who was 19, had drugs and alcohol in his system before he died from a head injury. But a number of Jay's friends who'd been in contact with him before his disappearance couldn't be traced. So his mother asked for the inquest to be adjourned so they could be brought to the court to give evidence. Live to Phil McCann. He is at Preston Coroner's Court for us this evening. And Phil, tell us first of all what we learned today about how Jay died.
Well, we learned that his death, Roger, was very likely to be due to the fact that he fell from a height and landed on his head. A forensic pathologist gave evidence here in Preston and said the cause of death was severe traumatic brain injury. You'll remember, of course, all of the conspiracy theories and online rumours that abounded in the 29 days between Jay going missing and his body being found last summer in a remote mountainous part of Tenerife. As for those questions about whether there was somebody else involved in Jay's death, well, that pathologist today said he couldn't rule out the possibility that Jay had been pushed, but he said there was nothing to suggest there was an assault, gripping or holding or anything of that sort.
What is less clear, though, Phil, is why Jay Slater was in that remote national park in the first place.
Yeah, and today has been about trying to provide some answers for Jay's family, at least as far as the authorities here are aware of them. And this is an area, Roger, which is still unclear. The court heard this morning from Joshua Forshaw, somebody who was with Jay on the night that he died, who said he was off his head on drugs in an earlier statement. Today he said that could just have been alcohol. We know that ecstasy, cocaine and ketamine, traces of all three, were found in Jay's system after he died. The court was told about messages that had apparently that had been sent by Jay, apparently boasting about planning to sell a watch, a designer watch that had been taken from someone for over £10,000, written as 10 quid, which is code for £10,000. A police officer, though, in court today said there was no evidence that actually happened other than those messages. The court was also told that Jay had sent a message in the early morning to somebody, a message which has since been automatically deleted, where he apparently had knives in his trousers and sent a message saying, "in case it kicks off." But again, a police officer today said there was no evidence of any threats to Jay. Instead, the court heard from two locals who said they saw a man who they now know to be Jay on the road the next morning in this mountainous area, asking them when he could next get a bus. They said that it was clear after that he'd begun to walk down a track and into this remote mountainous area.
So, Phil, just give us a few more details about why exactly the inquest was halted today and what happens next.
This is because some people who are meant to be here aren't. They didn't respond to witness summonses delivered by the police. The coroner told Jay's family that they will now make efforts to make sure those people can come here at some future date, and so the inquest has been adjourned until then. Jay's mother, Debbie, told the coroner at the end of proceedings today that she and the family want these people to be here because, she said, my son went on holiday but didn't come back.
Phil, thank you very much. Phil McCann there. Now, Leanne Lucas, the yoga teacher who was seriously injured in the Southport stabbings last summer, is calling for an end to the use of sharp-tipped knives in kitchens. Leanne is launching a campaign for household knives to have blunt tips instead. She's meeting MPs at Westminster this evening and says that action is needed to end a knife crime epidemic.
I just felt like things weren't moving quick enough. Like, I try and look at change that has come since July and I struggle to see it. So, you know, I was thinking, this needs to be a social change. We need to all get on board as a member of the general public and say we're not okay with the increase in knife crime and we want to play a tiny part towards preventing future knife crime. Because now that is part of our story, I see things in different light. I'm more hypervigilant. So obviously cooking is quite a trigger. And I hadn't noticed it was such a trigger. But when I'm maybe with friends or family and they're cooking away and we're having a conversation, I've noticed I'm watching what they're doing rather than listening. And when this idea about the blunt tip knives came in, I just thought, this is a no-brainer. I don't understand why our kitchen isn't safer in the first place. So that sort of sparked the initial idea and then we just rolled with it.
Leanne Lucas there telling us more about her campaign. Now, it's been the driest spring since records began nearly 200 years ago. I don't suppose that's come as any great surprise to you. And some parts of the region haven't had any rain for almost a month. Some of our reservoirs are just half full, and the water company, United Utilities, says that warm, dry weather can also cause underground water pipes to burst, so it's increased the number of teams fixing leaks. Here's our environment correspondent, Judy Hobson.
It's been the driest early spring in decades, and April was the sunniest ever recorded. It's having an impact on farmers and fruit growers and also our gardens, and reservoirs are looking low.
This is Entwistle Reservoir near Bolton, and you can see how low the water levels are. Across the region, reservoirs are about 2/3 full, but normally at this time of year, they'd be more than 90% full.
Some areas have had even less rain. Haweswater and Thirlmere are currently around 50% full. This time last year, that figure was about 90%. And the Pennine sources are also half full. A year ago, they were around 80%.
We currently are experiencing lower reservoir levels than we would normally expect at this time of the year, but we can move water around from areas which have got more water to areas with lower levels. Our major demand is in the larger city areas, in the conurbations, in Manchester, in Merseyside, etc. So the water does tend to move from the more rural areas, such as the Lake District and in North Wales as well, and we move water from those areas into the city regions.
Let's have a listen to this one as well.
To make matters worse, underground water leaks are more likely when it's warm. Today, Scott and Jen are investigating reports of a leak in Runcorn.
We use satellite technology, and that indicated a point of interest in this area to say that it thinks that there may be a leak around here somewhere.
The team quickly identify where the leak is. Currently, United Utilities say they're repairing 800 to 900 leaks every week.
With the dry weather, the water table goes lower. It puts added pressure onto the water network. It's extra stress for the mains, which causes ultimately leaks.
United Utilities are asking customers to report any leaks and also to do their bit to conserve water.
If we're asking of our customers to be trying to save water, then it's really important that we show that we're doing everything that we can as well.
There is some rain forecast this weekend, but it won't be enough to address low water levels. The Environment Agency says there is a medium but increasing risk of a summer drought. Judy Hobson, BBC North West Tonight.
Full weather forecast with Molly at the end of the programme, of course. Now, 2 men have been jailed for starting a fire which led to the evacuation of part of Crewe Town Centre. The disused printworks on Catherine Street burned down during last summer's disorder, which followed the Southport stabbings. Hundreds of people were forced to leave their homes. James Evans was jailed for 52 months. Luke Keeling received a 50-month sentence. The famous Bury Market has been named as one of the UK's top 10 coach destinations by the Confederation of Passenger Transport. It's up there with places like Edinburgh and the Cotswolds. An average of 23 coach parties, apparently, from across the UK visited Bury every week last year. That's up by 7% on 2023. It says the market combines traditional northern character with modern convenience. Now, tens of thousands of Manchester United football supporters have descended on Bilbao in northern Spain for tonight's Europa League final against Tottenham, hoping that their underperforming side can salvage a poor season. While United have been pretty dreadful in the Premier League, winning only 9 points since Christmas, their European form has been excellent. So, are the fans optimistic about United's chances in a European final, which is effectively a Premier League game?
Hopefully the occasion, and I don't know, we're a special football club, we do special things, so we might just about have enough in the tank, but it will be a close game, definitely.
You know, it's all worth it. You have your bad days and then you have these sort of days, and it's fantastic to be here. Lovely square, lovely people, lovely town.
We know how to win in cups like this. I was at the last European Cup in Sweden, and we weren't doing really well then, but we won. We know how to win. United know how to win trophies when we need them. So.
Fingers crossed for United. Tottenham have beaten them 3 times this season, but let's hope tonight is the night it turns around. The BBC's Andy Swiss is in Bilbao for the match. He told me a little earlier the atmosphere is building ahead of the 8 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, I suspect, Roger, Bilbao has not seen anything quite like this before. Around 80,000 fans are thought to have descended on this city. It's not a particularly easy place to get to from Manchester. There are limited direct flights, but United fans, by hook or by crook, have found a way to get out here. They've come by train, plane and automobile. Some have even come by ferry, a 33-hour ferry crossing from Portsmouth, which arrived here yesterday breakfast time.
And Andy, with this victory, if whoever wins it in the Europa League, with it comes qualification for next season's Champions League. And for United, with their well-documented financial constraints at the moment, Jim Ratcliffe cutting money left, right and centre, that's £100 million. So it's really, really important for them to get into the Champions League, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the two teams have slightly different approaches to this. I think Tottenham will want the trophy, particularly because they've not won a trophy for a long time. I think as far as United are concerned, as you say, Ruben Amorim has made no secret that it is that lure of Champions League football next season which is the key. And as you say, that could be worth up to £100 million when you take into account things like tickets, TV money, sponsorship. And obviously United's financial pressures are well documented. They've made big losses over the last couple of years. There have been redundancies at Old Trafford. Some have described it as the most important match in United's history from a financial perspective. So certainly as far as they are concerned, there is far more than just a trophy here at stake tonight.
And just a final thought, Andy, these two are the two sides above the relegation zone at the bottom of the Premier League. I doubt a Europa League final has been played between two such, with respect, poor sides before.
Yeah, as you say, I don't think there have been too many 16th versus 17th pairings in the final of a major European competition. But United obviously do have a bit more pedigree than Tottenham when it comes to winning these sorts of big finals. They won the FA Cup final last year. They won the League Cup the season before that. Of course, they won the Europa League as recently as 2017 under Jose Mourinho. So United will perhaps hope that that little bit of extra experience in big finals, that little bit of history might play in their favour when it comes down to things this evening.
That was Andy Swiss speaking to me a little earlier. We'll be with Kelly Foran and some fans closer to home towards the end of the programme. Next, though, it was known as the counterfeit capital of Europe, but not anymore. Streets in the Strangeways area of the city were packed with shops and distribution centres selling fake designer goods and laundering drugs money. But over the past couple of years, a police operation codenamed Vulcan has closed them down and cleared them out, and they've used some of the criminal proceeds to back community projects in the Cheetham Hill area. Over the past year, Greater Manchester Police have recovered a record amount from criminals, £18 million, as Suzanne Haley reports.
It brings a whole new meaning to Bobby's on the beat. This is a dance class with a difference, with officers on dance floor duty.
Around 130 children come here every week to dance, but this space is a far cry from what it was 3 years ago.
And the last time these officers were here, it was for vastly different reasons.
Here we go. Police!
This area of Cheetham Hill was previously blighted with fake goods shops, so GMP launched Operation Vulcan to target counterfeit crime and money laundering.
This was one of the first warrants that we executed when we set up in 2022. When we came in here, this was 4 floors of counterfeit goods. The top floor, there was actually a rope on the top floor which the criminals effectively would try and climb out when the police entered onto the roof of next door. So it's a totally different space now. It's great to see that it's been given back to the community.
£1 million worth of criminal goods were recovered from here, as well as £500,000 in cash. Now some of that money is being redistributed to projects like this one. Reclaiming this space is Jenny, whose dance school has been able to expand thanks to the £8,000 she's received from the scheme.
It's been one of them things that it helped us a lot because we are non-profit, so all our profit that we take goes back into the community and into the children. Obviously I needed a new venue because we were growing, so the fact that the police were able to help out and give us that money, it just helped us.
There were 216 counterfeit shops in this small area. Every single one has been shut down.
17.7 million we took out of criminals' pockets in Greater Manchester over the last year, absolutely leading the way nationally in terms of our economic crime response. So it's fantastic for me personally to see the other side of it, where that money is then used to benefit the local community, and this is a perfect example of an area that's been blighted by organised criminality. The Vulcan response really cleaning it up, and then the cash that's been seized from criminals in this area reinvested directly back into this area for this fantastic provision.
Back on the beat, and the officers are making progress. And thanks to their efforts, so too will these little ones for a long time to come. Suzanne Haley, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester.
That really suits us, doesn't it? Operation Vulcan, something, of course, we reported on many times, so good to see some good work being done as a result of it. Right, let's take a look at some of the other stories people are reading from BBC News this evening. And fans heading to the Isle of Man TT over the next few weeks have been advised to have travel insurance. They're warned about having to pay for ongoing care and repatriation. There'll be a minute's silence twice at Manchester's Victoria Station tomorrow, marking the 8th anniversary of the arena attack. One at midday, the other at 10:32 in the evening. That, of course, is the time of the bombing. And Janice Robinson is 81. She's worked at Matalan's first store in Bamber Bridge for 40 years, but Janice has told us she has no plans to retire. You can find out more at bbc.co.uk/local news, or, as always, on the BBC News app. It is shaping up to be a bumper bank holiday in Liverpool with some huge events. Liverpool Football Club have their Premier League title parade on Monday. There'll be live coverage of that on the BBC iPlayer for the entire duration. That's the same day as Cunard's cruise ship, Queen Anne, arrives to celebrate the company's 185th birthday. And Radio 1 are holding their big weekend at Sefton Park with over 100,000 fans expected there. And work is well underway to set up for that, as Tavinia Ramos reports.
Some of the biggest stars in the world have performed at Big Weekend, from Harry Styles to Sabrina Carpenter. And this year it's coming to Liverpool, where preparations are already taking place. It's a huge opportunity for local band Quayside, who are performing on the BBC introducing stage.
No, it means everything. It's a massive thing, BBC Weekender, to get a chance to play it in your hometown. Liverpool's one of the capitals of culture, you know. It's a city of music. So, yeah, it's inspired us. It's in everything we do, you know, the way we sing. You know, we keep the Liverpool tone in.
Yeah, it's great, because we used to come here quite a lot, you know, when we first moved here, so, you know, it's nice to, you know, kind of round it all up, you know, playing here.
3 schools nearby will close on Friday and set-up has already begun. But there's been complaints from local residents about road closures and restricted access to the park. But people we spoke to today were mostly positive about it.
I don't consider it disruptive. I think it's brilliant for the city. It attracts visitors and it's great for the local people as well. So for me, it's a win.
It's going to be annoying because you can't get into the park, because I come every day with the dog. So it just means I've got to go to another park. But no, it's good for the city.
I think it's a really good thing. I think it's a positive thing for the city because it brings in tourism.
There's also been criticism of the council's decision to spend £250,000 on Big Weekend. Councillor Harry Doyle says it's a huge coup for the city.
If we said no to every event in the city, well, we wouldn't host anything. And, you know, Liverpool's an exciting city, and one thing you can't say about our city is that there's nothing going on, because there's always something going on, or places to visit here in Liverpool, and, you know, that's what we're very proud of.
90% of the tickets have gone to people living in Liverpool, and this year it'll be headlined by Blossoms, Sam Fender and the Sugar Babes, to name a few. The city certainly knows how to host a major event, and Big Weekend promises to not disappoint. Davinia Ramos, BBC North West Tonight in Liverpool.
Kevin De Bruyne is Belgian, not Dutch, as it said on the script. You knew that anyway. Oldham Athletic are one match away from promotion back to the Football League. They've reached the finals of the National League playoffs, so really well done. After a 3-0 win over York City, former Preston player Joe Garner with Latic's third goal. They'll face Forest Green Rovers or Southend United at Wembley on the 1st of June. Blackburn Rovers have withdrawn from the Women's Championship next season because the club's owners say they can't afford to meet the league's requirements on facilities, player welfare and staffing when only around 300 fans attend their matches. The club are in discussions with the FA over which division they'll play in next season.
We're obviously all really disappointed and hoped the club would do better, but I don't think it's that much of a shock. So we're all just disappointed, really. You know, we've done our bit to stay in the league, so it's a shame that we won't be able to play in it.
Really quick mention about the documentary that I told you about earlier this week on Everton's men playing their last match at Goodison Park. It's now on BBC iPlayer, a must, of course, for Everton supporters, but there's plenty in there, even if you're not a football fan. It's on BBC iPlayer now. It's called Goodbye to Goodison. Now, let's go back to Manchester United and their big night in Bilbao tonight. As we heard, thousands of fans have travelled to northern Spain. Many of them don't even have a ticket, but many more will be watching on a big screen at the city's AO Arena. Hopefully, Kelly Foran can hear me. I bet it's noisy.
Well, I categorically, Roger, cannot hear you, but I think that's a sign of how the Manchester United fans feel about this game tonight. As we've heard already this evening, certainly in the Premier League for Manchester United, it has been one of their worst seasons, but in this competition, we've seen actually some of the most magical and memorable nights at Old Trafford. So the fans here are certainly hoping that they have something to cheer about. How do you think it's going to go tonight?
2-1. Dominate Solanke first goal and we're going to win.
What about you? What do you think the score's going to be?
I think 2-0 United. I think it'll be an easy one. We'll score first and it'll be an easy game from there.
Yeah. Lots of optimism here tonight, isn't there?
There's loads, yeah. It's going to be booming in a bit. If we win this tonight, this place will erupt. 100%.
And I have to ask, are you planning on going to work tomorrow?
If we get the win, there's no work tomorrow. Come on, United.
We've actually had to move out of the arena because we're expecting 6,000 fans inside tonight. I think he wants to say hi to his mum.
Hi, Mum. I'm sorry.
6,000 fans are expected here tonight.
Hello. I've got a science exam in the morning. I'm really sorry, Mum. I love you, Mum.
Him and everybody else here tonight are certainly...
Where are you? Where are you?
United will have a really tailending to let's see what happens.
The most difficult job of the evening, undoubtedly. I think it's safe to say they're in high spirits ahead of the game. Whether they'll still be in high spirits come 10 o'clock at the end of it remains to be seen. But it's United against Tottenham. BBC Radio Manchester has commentary on the game from Bilbao, and it looks like they're already enjoying themselves, Molly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Poor old Kelly.
Although it's better weather here than in Spain at the moment. Yeah.
Well,
so
as we heard from Judy earlier in the programme, it's been so dry. I mean, but the farmers, the growers are all desperate.
Yeah, they're welcoming
for
rain and they'll get it at the bank holiday. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, let's take a look at your photos from today, because we've had glorious blue skies. There has been a fair bit of cloud about. It's been mainly dry, the odd, very isolated shower, but staying dry, blue skies in Cumbria as well. In fact, we've had more sunshine this spring than the whole of last summer. Thank you very much for sending your photos in. So as I mentioned, a bit of a change tomorrow, so it is going to start feeling cooler. It'll be a cloudier start to your day, brightening in the afternoon, but the real change coming at the bank holiday. But in terms of tomorrow, tonight rather, you can see this cold front coming in. That is going to bring cloudy and cooler conditions. And then this is the real problem, low pressure coming in, and that's going to bring the rain at the bank holiday weekend. But some people really looking forward to a bit of rain, actually. It's been extremely dry this spring. But overnight tonight, that cold front I mentioned, that's going to come in into the early hours. You can see towards more eastern parts, we are going to have a fair bit of rain. But many of us staying dry. You can see lows of around 5 degrees Celsius. So waking up tomorrow will be a cloudy start for most, but you can see it will burn away and we should have plenty of sunny spells tomorrow. Highs of around 17 degrees Celsius, so it is a bit of a windier day, so we've got a northeasterly breeze, and so it is going to feel a little bit cooler than it has been. And it's going to continue to be cool into Friday, but plenty more sunshine on Friday, turning a bit hazy as we head towards the end of the day. Highs of 19 degrees Celsius. You can see a bit cooler on the Isle of Man. And as I mentioned, at the bank holiday weekend is where we will start to see the real change in the weather. So it will have heavy outbreaks of rain on Saturday, and then it'll turn into showers on Sunday and Monday. But you can see a little bit of sunshine in the forecast. So a bit of a mixed bag, the bank holiday.
Well, we kind of come to expect that, don't we? Really? As soon as a bank holiday comes around, you know the weather's not going to be great. And of course, I think a lot of the kids are off on half term next week as well. So inevitably, it's not particularly good. However, we do need the rain, don't we?
We do need the rain. You heard in Judy's report, didn't you? We do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we can guarantee we'll have it. Just a quick reminder, Manchester United against Tottenham live on BBC Radio Manchester tonight. Someone taking exception to me, saying I'm anti-United. Nonsense. Best of luck to the Reds this evening. Let's hope they can win the Europa League. Thank you to you for watching. Have a great evening. Good night.